terms of the civil penalties, when we look at the at the Canada Revenue Agency rules, there are some anti-avoidance provisions where corporations, that want to prevent corporations from artificially reducing their revenue for the purpose of qualifying, or having multiple non-arm's length parties from receiving subsidies for the same employee. So essentially having two companies and claiming the employee under those two companies to get additional benefits. Now, all these civil penalties do not give a criminal record, but they are pretty serious. But beyond those civil penalties, what can happen is that the CRA and the government can turn to the criminal code in order to be more strict and to impose fines and imprisonment and things that will may cause people to have a criminal record if they're convicted. And so examples of these offenses include theft, which is a known offense, obviously, so stealing the money from the government; false pretense or false statement, which is making a false statement in writing with respect to one's financial condition for the purpose of obtaining the payment of money. So essentially lying on your financial statements, maximizing your losses, although they're not real losses, changing certain numbers. All these things can be considered making a false statement and are criminalized under Section 362 of the Criminal Code. There's making a false document with intent that it be relied upon is also a criminal offense. So, for example, if you're audited by the government and then they ask you for some financial statements, and you provide financial statements that are false in order to justify justify your use of the benefits or your use of the program, that can be considered a criminal offense. Fraud, and a lot of people think that fraud is an offense only if there's an actual financial loss, but in fact, under the current rules, even a risk of financial deprivation is sufficient. So, for example, even if the government rejected your application for benefits, if they see that you were dishonest in your application and that was done knowingly and intentionally, they could still charge you with fraud, even though you never got a single dime from the government. And finally, falsification, or making false entries in books and records, is another type of offense that could be that could be used in order to convict, in order to charge people with criminal offenses in relation to the use of COVID-19 related economic assistance.